From the time Dr. William J. Holloway orchestrated a sit-down strike his senior year at Hampton Institute, now Hampton University, to the strikes of the deadly spring of 1970 that led to the closing of The Ohio State University and to the hiring of my grandfather, Dr. Holloway dedicated his life fighting for equity in academia. As an educator and administrator, he fought for minorities, the disabled, as well as created programs desegregating schools under Title IV of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. As the first vice provost of the Office of Minority Affairs, now Diversity and Inclusion, Dr. Holloway developed a department that became nationally known and became a blueprint for over 35 colleges and universities across the country. He created programs for minorities that were the catalyst to programs like the Bridge Program, a program that gave me a simulated collegiate experience 3 weeks prior to my freshman fall classes in 2005. But his impact was not limited to the United States. He created the Nigerian Education Program that afforded nearly 200 Nigerian teachers to get their degrees, and he traveled around the world as a lecturer, leaving behind the OMA newsletter everywhere he went. You see, Dr. Holloway created the culture that we celebrate today, and I can't wait for those of you who don't know him to get to know him, my guardian angel, through his books, his speeches, as well as on the big screen.
I am pleased to make comments on my mentor and friend, Dr. William Jemison Holloway. I will start by comments on Dr. Holloway as a person. He was a person of integrity, honesty, and humility. If you knew Dr. Holloway, you also knew his family. He and his wife, Julia, had 3 children. Wendell, who was in college in the D.C. area, Lynn and Arnett, who were in private schools in D.C. They went to Sitwell Friends and Cathedral. I'm sure that many of you are familiar with the name of those schools, since those 2 schools are where the President of the United States often sent their children. And Barack Obama, recently, his daughters finished Sitwell Friends. He had a personality to work with diverse groups. He had to make use of that skill early on, because when it was announced that he was the one to become the first vice provost for minority affairs, he received a call at his home in D.C. asking him not to come, to decline the offer. For this student group, Afro-Am, as it was called, said he was not the person of their choice. I am sure that was somewhat of a surprise, that he was planning to use those talents with diverse groups for working with those administrators who resist change, or for those faculty members who wanted to maintain the status quo. He was a good listener. He was tactful, but most of all, he was visionary. His work was impactful and transformative. He gave us a foundation which has endured over the years. When I walk across the Oval and see the diversity of the students on the Oval, I think of William Jemison Holloway. When I walk down the halls of the classroom buildings and see the faculty, the students, and the staff, I think William Jemison Holloway. I'm reminded of the words from J.G. Holland when he said, "God give us men like time like this demand." Well, the times at that time were tumultuous, and I think that the student paper summarized it well. The title of the paper, Our Choking Times. But Dr. Holloway was coming to Ohio State from the federal government, where he worked with desegregated schools throughout the country. He was indeed the person for the time.
Dr. William Holloway was a visionary leader and passionate activist who dedicated his life to promoting social justice and advancing the cause of civil rights. Through his tireless efforts, he broke down barriers of discrimination and helped to create a more inclusive and equitable society. As a scholar and educator, Dr. Holloway made significant contributions to the field of African American studies, and his work on the history and culture of Black Americans continues to inspire and inform scholars today. He has served as a mentor and role model to countless students, instilling in them a sense of purpose and commitment in making a positive difference in the world. Dr. Holloway's activism extended beyond the classroom, as he was a vocal advocate for civil rights and worked to mobilize communities around issues of social justice. He marched alongside the famous Martin Luther King Jr. in the historical Selma to Montgomery March, and he played a key role in organizing the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, which sought to challenge the exclusion of African Americans from the political process. In recognition of his many accomplishments and contributions, Dr. William Holloway remains a beloved figure to all African Americans and myself especially, as an inspiration to all and who serve to create a more just and equitable world.